Batya, is this what people refer to when they say they are reaping the fruits of their labor?
Absolutely. I have the best job in the world and I get to play banana pianos all day. No, this is a makey, and it's how we start teaching young children, families, adults how to use electronics and start understanding robotics.
Right, so Batya, your role is Director of Education and Outreach here at Mode. What does that entail day to day?
Day to day, we're organizing school groups coming through. We have workshops for them. We take them through the different exhibitions. It's also about servicing the creative community. So on Tuesday nights, we have Night Owls, which is we open up late. We have our makerspace open. The coffee shops open, and it's just about learning a new skill. If it's someone comes with a skill swap or a share, or it's about networking and finding out who else is in this creative maker community as well. Over and above that, there for families, for kids, weekends, we open up and we teach them makey, or it's just about playing with things and starting to understand what creativity, technology and low-tech can come together and what it can create and what it can build for the future of innovators and inventors of South Africa.
Batya, I see it says Maker Library Network. Does that mean that this is branching out anywhere else in the world maybe?
Absolutely. We're very fortunate to be a part of the Maker Library Network, which is a British Council Connect ZA program. 2014 and 2015, they created maker libraries across the UK, in Cape Town, Durban, and we the Johannesburg branch. And we have been collaborating, we've been doing work with them, we've met up in the different countries. As of 2015 and 2016, they're planning on opening up in Ghana, Brazil, so we'll have Africa connections and we'll have South-South connections as well.
How beneficial has it been to be able to connect and make use of technology at that as well?
It's been extremely beneficial. We've collaborated in amazing ways. In April, we had our big Mode reopening, our vernissage, and we connected with Lime Wharf in London and the Makerspace in Durban, and we created a three-way workshop on the night of our big opening. So we had TriSpace in London who created these beautiful pieces that we then had laser cut in Durban at the Makerspace there and brought through to Joburg, and together all three Makerspaces created these beautiful lampshades and light fixtures on the same night. So we were really able to take design from one continent over to the other and create this three-way workshop that was so beautiful.
Now hold up, you used a very, very attractive word there, vernissage, and I like collecting words. What does it mean?
So vernissage was our preview secret opening of our new exhibitions. We have the Chris Saunders and Not exhibition, and we also have Trinity Sessions, temporary but permanent. And our vernissage is our sneak peek preview for all of those VIP and elite in Joburg.
Well, speaking of Chris, I think it's time we find him so he can tell us more about his awesome collabs. Yes, the Edge team is out and exploring the Not in Collaboration exhibition with the man himself, Chris Saunders, but we want to be in collab with you and find out exactly what made this whole exhibition special. So, Chris, tell me more.
So the exhibition was a collaboration between myself and a fashion designer in New York called Jenny Lai. And the idea behind the show was to collaborate with South African creatives who have unique processes and a way to show it through collaborations and through documenting it and telling the stories of their unique processes in South African fashion.
Well, Chris, it looks like we have a problem on our hands. So this is actually not just for show and not just an ornament, but actually quite interactive.
Yeah, so it's part of a larger-than-life puppet by a guy called Maboneng, who lives in Orange Farm, and he's a larger-than-life puppet maker that we worked with on this project. And the actual hands and the puppet head are made of recycled Coca-Cola bottles, and over the top of them is a paper mache made of PPC cement bags. And it basically is the whole idea was that it's a pansula outfit, and it's like a puppet pansula made of cement bags in an oversized outfit that's wearable by a human being.
Well, Chris, the internet was quite handy, shall we say, in actually connecting you and Jenny together.
Yes, so Jenny connected with me on email first and was interested in my subculture documentary work and the connection it had to fashion. And we started chatting online, and over a 6-month period we eventually came up with the collaboration that you see on the wall today. And we connected with all the different people, came up with the ideas, and only when she arrived in Cape Town to start the first part of the project did we actually meet for the first time. And after that we also fundraised for the New York exhibition completely through Indiegogo.
Wow, so everything from bonding with Jenny to crowdfunding and then also taking your work internationally. What was that like?
It was awesome. Showing in New York's intimidating, and we got to show it in a really cool spot called Wallplay in the Lower East Side. And it's on the corner of Delancey and Orchard Road, and Orchard is the same road as the Williamsburg Bridge. So basically what we had is we had a video piece that's on display here showing the streets of Johannesburg with an interpretive dance piece by our muse Manti Ribani. And it was showing on a street in New York, so people were sitting there staring at these images of like downtown Johannesburg and how it looked. So it was impactful, and it had just these giant television screens facing the road.
Chris, how excited are you about tech as the enabler and just merging all these creative worlds together in future?
Well, I could talk for myself firstly, saying that, if I hadn't have put myself online as an African artist, I would have never seen the global success that I've had. And I think that the more South African and African artists that utilize the internet to communicate with other people internationally and also just to have their work available for people to see, the more success that we're going to see and the more exposure South African and African artists will actually have.
Well, here's to a life without creative borders anymore. Erin, mode has really become a hot spot and an interactive one at that. Everything from really cool outsourced events to some amazing art exhibitions.
Well, I'm glad you think so. We've really tried to reinvent the idea of a museum, at least in South Africa. This isn't a place that is just open during the daytime. We have a bar that's open at night, and the exhibitions stay open. We have parties, we have workshops, so people actually come here to learn new skills. And the idea is that it's not just a static place, it's a place that you can come and interact with. And we've really had to sort of think the museum to actually get people to show up.
Now, the museum's been open for a little while. What are some of the highlights to date that have really excited you in terms of being host with the most?
For me, the most exciting thing is to bring artists and designers from around Africa to South Africa. They don't always see Johannesburg as the cosmopolitan city that we know it is. So an artist from Nigeria or Kenya or Congo, they would more likely be shown in New York or London or Paris, and they wouldn't see Johannesburg as a viable opportunity. And South Africans, therefore, don't know about all the exciting stuff that's going on around the continent. So a lot of what we do, we try to focus on bringing people here for the first time. So this work, for instance, is from Cameroon, and it was commissioned by the Tate Modern in London, and it'll go to the Tate. So obviously this is exactly one of those examples where London was so far ahead of us on something that's African that we're lucky we got to bring it back for a little bit.
To reel it back home and say, it's still ours, don't steal it. Well, in terms of technology really assisting, mode and African artists in the world to zone in here, what does that mean to you?
Well, we have an amazing following around the world on what we're doing here in Johannesburg, which is something that wouldn't have existed 10 years ago. So the hype around African art around the world and the way that people are able to interact with our exhibitions online and to actually participate in some of the workshops digitally has been really awesome. We've also played around with having mobile apps for the exhibition, so instead of having a catalog or a guide, sometimes we've put together an app for your iPhone or your Android phone, and that can take you through the museum. And artists are also starting to use technology. There's a number of sound artists in Africa that have really gone big this year, and I think we'll see even more of that.
Now I see that behind us, you've got your screens up here with various graphic content and earphones. People are really changing the way they absorb content and absorb information. Sometimes they don't even have a TV. Do you find technology has really helped?
Definitely. I mean, the work behind us actually has no sort of physical entity. There's no piece of painting or design or object that comes out of it. And what happened were simply these recordings and this sound that was put to it. And people can access this from all over the world. And that's a pretty cool thing. Of course, coming here, you'll see it how the artist wanted you to see it. And yeah, it opens up a ton of possibilities.
Well, Aaron, here's to Mode merging art and technology in the most harmonious way. Well, from here, we're about to check in with Ensley Dooms, who created his very own earphones for the love of music. But before we get there, let's check in with the review and hypertext.